All right, welcome to the end of GM Live Show. This is another amazing day that we are able to see you. You are able to see us. Tony Mwebia on the line. Welcome. If you are watching this show from Kenya, please let us know what's happening in your county from abroad. Karibu sana. It's another time to be able to engage on the End FGM campaign. Today we will be with Tony Mwebia, who is the founder, Men End FGM, and we'll be talking about the End FGM campaign in Kenya in regards to especially what we've been able to cover this week. We will also be able to answer your own questions, so shoot them in the chat boxes as you can see on the screen, and we will be able to read them live. All right, so today we will be talking about different issues on our week 2 updates, as you can see on your screen. And this week we had 4 counties represented. We had 4 counties, 13 panelists from Kenya. We were in Kisii County. We were also in Isiolo County, Narok County, Bungoma County, and we were able to interact with all those panelists, as you can see on the screen. We had Stella Achoki, Esna Nyaramba, Joel Onderi, all from Kisii County. We had Dr. Rukia Atikia, Bilal Muhammad, Aisha Hussein Roba from Isiolo. We had Seleyan Partoib, Amos Leuka Nampayo Koriata from Narok County. We also had PC Kemei, we also had Mtunasi Solomon, Jepchumba Soprin, Emmanuel Naibei from Bungoma County, Mount Elgon region, and we all talk about FGM in those regions. Right into that, in Kisii County, we talked about a couple of issues which we're going to be discussing today. Tony Mwebia is on the line. I'm just going to bring to the screen in a few. Also in Isiolo, in Narok, we talked about issues revolving around cross-border cutting, and many others we'll be reviewing today. So remember that you can always leave a comment on the EndFGM Live as a hashtag. So it's hashtag EndFGM Live. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And wherever you're able to, please hit that link, comment, and share it as we go on. Right away onto the screen, Tony Mwebia is joining us right now, and he will be joining me for the entire show today. And we'll be talking about FGM in those counties we covered this week. Welcome to the show, Tony. Once again, I know we've been doing lots of things on the background. Today we are on the screen. How's your week been, Tony?
My week has, thank you so much, Jeremiah, for having me today. The week has been amazing, and I was really amazed by how much work we were able to cover and how many counties we were able to hear from.
Amazing. Amazing. So we talked with different people from different counties, and lots of opinions, lots of reports coming our way. This week is going to be even better. But even as we discuss about FGM in the long run, we still have different counties being represented in this country yet to be discovered. We have counties in the north, Wajir, Garissa coming up in a few weeks. So lots of things coming up. First of all, to the panelists, to you, one big lesson that maybe you would say you learned this week.
Thank you so much for that. Allow me to say that I learned something amazing from the people of Mount Elgon. When they said that FGM in their county, that is Bungoma County, is done in every even year.
Yeah.
Because this is so similar to what happens in Kuria, that is in Migori County. Because in Kuria, FGM is done on every even year, and they do not do FGM on a year that ends with 7, because they believe 7 is a cursed number.
Okay.
So I saw some similarities there, and I was really amazed by that.
Amazing. Also, a big lesson that I learned is the involvement of SLDF in also bringing back FGM in that region, the Mount Elgon region. I never knew that it had such an impact on women's rights. Just talking about women and the effects of war in the promotion of women's rights and human rights in general. All right, so let's do this. Just going straight, we go back to the first county. We were in Kisii. Tony describes Kisii as the land of matoke. And so today we are going to be reviewing what we talk about in Kisii. Tony, we will just push into this, and then maybe you'll just take us through as I just read the content to you as it's displayed on the people, as you can see from your side. All right, so in Kisii, we had Stella Achoki, the Executive Director, Kikome, Esnas Nyaramba, Young Women Democrats, Joel Onderi Machuka from International Solidarity Foundation. And we talked about a couple of issues, but emerging among them is FGM is still being done by elites, people who've gone to school. Chiefs are not always cooperative. There is also medicalization of FGM, Kisii being the county with the highest number of people practicing medicalized FGM in this country. And then we also looked at the lack of safe houses for rescued girls, and the girls are also cut between below 5 years at times, and the cutting season is normally April and August, also spilling off to December, and the county government not being of much help. Just let's go through that. Is there something that you would like to talk about in regards to Kisii County, Tony?
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Allow me to say that, yes, Kisii has so many elite people, and we have so many senior government officers coming from Kisii. Just to name a few, we have someone like Maraga himself,
the Chief Justice.
We have the Minister for Interior, that is the friend Matiangi. These are just but a few people who are top officials in the current government. So simply Kisii has so many elite people, people who have gone to school, people who understand different issues, and they are well exposed. But FGM is still practiced in Kisii, and the people of Kisii hold it so dear as their culture. So this simply shows that when the campaigns against FGM started in this area, we were not able to appeal to their inner self and make them understand why we are saying that FGM is an harmful cultural practice. And this made them to turn into medicalization of FGM. Yeah. That's why, as we were listening to the panelists, you heard them say that Kisii are innovative people. So when we told them that the children were going to bleed, when we told them that there was risk of transmitting HIV, when we told them that there are the pain that comes with FGM, then they thought, what if we innovate and take our children to the medical doctors for them to be cut there? Yeah. This would mean that we would take away all these risks that are involved with FGM. But allow me to say that FGM is FGM, whether medicalized or done by a traditional kata, it still remains an harmful cultural practice, and the effects remain there, because at the end of the day, the scarring tissue will still occur, and the complications, the long-term complications that come with childbirth, with sex, will still remains there. Allow me to say this in a layman's language. If, for example, a doctor told you that he is going to use anesthesia on you and then chop off your hand, your left hand, that does not mean that you will not have the psychological effect and it will not affect you physically. So at the end of the day, the harm still remains there. And that is what people need to understand. And we need now to structure our campaign in a way that we are able to appeal to the people and make them understand the reason as to why we are saying it's an harmful cultural practice, and not just because of the negative health effects of the same.
Yeah, and Tony, that's a very important point, because mostly we talk about the why. Why are we saying that FGM should should be something that should have been done yesterday as an action? So a very important point there. Next county, we will go to Isiolo County, which is found in the center of this country. Isiolo County, We had Dr. Rukia Atikia, Registrar Admin, Umma University, Bilal Mohammed, an activist, and Aisha Hussein Roba, who is the director, Every Girl's Dream. And Isiolo is unique because despite it being quite interior in regards to how far it is from the major cities in Kenya, we still have quite metropolitan tendencies in that area, with different communities living in Isiolo. We have the Samburu people, we have the Somali, Borana, the Rendile also are found in Isiolo, and even the Gabra are also found in Isiolo. And so lots of challenges in regards to helping these people to identify issues in this county exist. We talked about little county support, FGM and religion, lack of county-specific data, cosmopolitan county, as I had just said, making it very difficult to deal with the many communities that exist there, and the lack of county-specific data and statistics. And in that regard, they were saying a different, they were quoting 65%, and some of them were actually saying that it's even higher. So I don't know what your reflection on this, Tony, is.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Allow me to say that data is key in the work that we are doing. We need to be scientific in the way we approach things. We need to understand if we are really making any change. We need to know the numbers. We need to know where we are beginning from and where we are going to. So without county-specific data, then it means that we are just working blindly. So I believe that there is need to ensure that we have this data available, and I hope that the next KDHS is going to capture this, because it's not only in Isiolo County where we lack the specific data.
Yeah.
We have some communities which are spread across several counties, like the Kalenjin, and there's no specific county data for those specific counties.
Yeah.
So this simply means we need to lobby the policymakers and the government itself to ensure that we have the specific data to ensure that we are able to work effectively.
And that's very important, Tony. As we go on, many people have been talking about the importance of having county-specific data, thinking of counties that even share the same community, like Kajiado and Narok, for example, where we have the same communities sharing the same data, yet different policies are being implemented, and they will not cross to the other side of the border. So I think even as we start talking about how FGM is researched, then it's important for us to think about that county-specific data. So very nice point. Do you have any other reflection in that regard?
Let me say also the issue of Isiolo having different communities living in this county. And then these communities have different ways of doing they have different cultures, they have different religions that they follow, and also they have different way of carrying out their activities. So this complicates the whole issue of FGM in that county, in the sense that you may think that the numbers are going down when looking at a specific tribe or community, but in the other community, the numbers are not going down. Or when looking at a specific religion, for the Christians, it might be going down, but for the Muslims, it might be constant or going up. So also that makes it quite a complex situation there.
Wow, thank you very much for that, Tony. We'll just go straight to the comment sections. Remember that you can always leave your comments wherever you are, and they are streaming on the wall, as you can see. Please feel free to drop them there, and we will surely find a way to read and make sure that you are able to be heard. On Facebook, I see a couple of people joining in. Welcome to the show. Matilda Timpian, Karibu Sana. Antonia Sophia and Sonyango Lengais have been there for quite some time. Please keep them, also keep engaging on that online broadcast. Daniel Ekale, getting you loud and clear. Thanks for the warm welcome. Karibu Sana to this show. Walter Mounde, we also see you here with you. You say, please drop your comment, questions. Tony is an expert in the End FGM campaign, and we've been doing this show for quite some time. So any questions that Jeremiah might not be able to answer directly, then Tony is here to help us as well. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we will talk about the next counties. But before then, please remember to drop your questions, and we will read them as they come in. And also feel free to interact on the comment box. Drop your opinions, drop your questions, and we have experts on the chat box as well, so you will be able to have someone to help you in case you have a question. Short break, but when we come back, we will be talking about the remaining 2 counties, then welcome any questions that you have.
Tune in to the EndFGM live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at EndFGM Live. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.
All right, we are back. Thank you very much for joining us on this show. My name is Jeremiah Kipainoi, and live on air with me is Tony Mwebia, who is the founder and director of FGM. On the chat box is Antonia Sophia, who is also the founder director Zinduka. And today we will be talking about different issues in regards to FGM. But before then, going back to the counties of origin, just reminding you that you can leave your comment using the hashtag EndFGM Live. It will pop on the screen on from wherever you're watching this live broadcast from. So if you're watching from YouTube, drop a comment there. If it's on Facebook, please drop that comment there. And on YouTube, please on Twitter, EndFGM, please drop your comment there, and we will surely get to see them going up the screen. On the other side is Tony Mwebia joining us. We will be talking about Narok County and Bungoma County. Before we take another break, we had different panelists from this county, and we are just going to start off with Narok County. As you might know, Narok County is the homeland of the Masai Mara, for those who love adventure, and we'll just take you down there. All right, Tony, we had issues on cross-border cutting before the curfew. And someone mentioned that is not happening. Probably since you are on the other side, you would like to just reflect on why is it important for people to know that this curfew in that area actually might have helped curb FGM in regards to cross-border cutting.
Well, let me say that every time we have a pandemic or an issue, sometimes it gives us opportunities in what we are doing. So, like for example, the person from Amos from Loita told us that the border between Kenya and Tanzania is completely closed. And they are not able to go to the other side to even say hi to the families or the people who are on the other side. This is an opportunity that the pandemic has presented to us when it comes to ending FGM, in the sense that means there is a significant drop in the cases of close-border cutting in that area. But now what we need to ask ourselves and what we need to be worried about is when the pandemic is over and when the border is finally open up again. So how can we be able to leverage on this, or how can we ensure that this continues and that there is no close-border cutting or such like activities happening between Kenya and Tanzania in that area among the Maasais? Yeah. So that is it for now. Yeah, that's
very crucial. A supply of masks has been done in that region by that organization, that's SafeMa. Child pregnancies on the rise was reported by one of the ladies there, Seleyan. Child marriage as well as a precursor as well. You know, sometimes when girls get pregnant, then they are forced to get married to those people who they bore babies with. So it's an issue that is likely to get much more. I don't know if I'm going to say intense, but it's on the rise right now. FGM cases are also likely to go up, and one issue, Tony, that we talked about is the Maasai people, unlike the people from Mount Elgon and the Kuria people, do not have a specific cutting season, and that makes it very complicated in that regard, because girls can be cut at any time and married off at any time at that. Do you have any reflection to how culture and how beliefs also shape ways of thinking in regard to FGM in general?
Let me say that every community has its own specific ways of doing things. There are communities that we have spoken with, and they have said that they have specific time when they do the cutting of the girls. Like, for example, in Kuria, it's done in December, and it has to be an even year number. Then the same thing in Mount Elgon. But now you see among the Maasais, those limitations do not occur. And also among the Isiolo people, also those limitations do not occur, whereby the cutting can go on at any time when they have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
So this is why we need specific community interventions which are tailored to the specific context that we are dealing with at every time, so that we are able to ensure that we are dealing with the real issues in that community. Also, something else about Narok County, you talked about teenage pregnancies. You are aware that Narok County is #1 in Kenya when it comes to issues to do with teenage pregnancies. So I am quite worried. Yes, I don't have the data right now to say that it's happening, but I'm quite worried that by the end of the pandemic, we might have a crisis in that area. We might have some figures coming up and numbers coming up, because the girls are at home right now for longer time, and it's very likely to happen.
Yeah. So Nyango Lengais from Facebook says, I think the curfew might be contributing to the increase of the FGM cases, since people are confined at their homes. And it's something that we've had a concern about for quite some time now, that people are forced to stay with their homes, and even the rise of cases of gender-based violence, because sometimes people are locked in with the perpetrators of these acts. Are you worried that this might actually get out of hand, Tony?
Yes, of course, but the worrying issue is that these figures are not going to come up right now. What is going to happen is that the figures now will start showing up after the pandemic, especially when you talk about issues to do with teenage pregnancies. Because I'm sorry to say this, but mostly in the African context, when it comes to teenage pregnancies, people have to see that someone is getting bigger for them to really say that they are pregnant. So I believe that in the next coming months, and when the schools reopen, that is when we will be able to get the reality on the ground.
Perfect. We'll just go on straight to the next county, because we've talked about a couple of things, but maybe if you have something to say about Narok in particular. We had a lady who also represented her name was Nampayo, and she has a trust called Nampayo Akoriata Fistula Trust, and very much likely to have much more repercussions as we go on. We realize that some of the women actually are suffering during this time because they are not able to have access to different health products. For example, if someone has fistula, they might probably need some products to be able to just keep them much more comfortable. The pandemic, people are talking about many issues. Do you think that the cutting of supplies will generally make things harder for these communities?
Yes, of course, and that's why I'm happy to say that I've seen different counties coming up with toll-free numbers and hotlines whereby people can be able to call in and seek for assistance. I have seen that happen in a county like Migori County. I just saw the number the other day, but unfortunately I don't remember the same, but it's there. But we have also national hotlines like 1195 for Gender Recovery Center, and also 116 for the Child Helpline, which are known to so many people, and what we need to do is utilize these numbers. I am aware that also FIDA has given a number that people can be able to reach out and also seek for what legal reprieve at this time. So it's the high time that people utilize these available avenues, and also those who have the information of the coming up of new numbers, toll-free numbers, and services, kindly also share with the different community members so that they are able to seek assistance.
Thank you very much, Tony, for that. Just switching to what people are saying when they are joining in. I see on Facebook, I see Patrick Washira saying Laikipia is worse and FGM. Please keep on leaving the comments and we will be able to read them as they come. Remember to use the hashtag #EndFGMLive and we will be able to keep on having comments. So we will keep on reading them as they come in, so please drop them and we will be sure to read them as they come. Again, remember that this show is produced by Antonia Sophia and Tony Mwebia, and your host Jeremiah Kipainoi. Really happy to have you here today. Quick short break, and when we come back we talk about the last county.
Tune in to the EndFGM live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at EndFGMLive. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.
All right, we're back. Thank you very much again for joining us. This is the EndFGM Live, brought to you by Tony Mwebia and Antonia Sophia. We just go straight to the last county now, as I had promised you. We are now headed to Bungoma County. Bungoma County is predominantly occupied. The major population is actually Bantu speaking and do not practice FGM. But we also have the Sabaot who live in the Mount Elgon area, and we will be talking about what they are experiencing from what the activists spoke to us about this week. And so we had Peter Kemei from a representative of actually Men and FGM joining us very briefly. We also had Solomon Tunasi, who is a radio presenter, and an AYG, a member of AYG as well. We also had a lady, her name is Jepchumba Soprin from Maendeleo Wanawake Mount Elgon chapter, and Emmanuel Naibei, who is an activist and he was actually very instrumental in the organization of the first marathon in that region to end FGM. Remember that it's also a place where people are as athletic as the Kalenjin community is normally noted or known for. All right, so in Bungoma County, we talked about different things, and we talked about insecurity. Remember that there was the Sabaot Land Defense Force invasion around 2008. The cross-border cutting, remember it's also across the Kenya-Uganda border. Poor infrastructure, which limits the access to these communities, and also the fact that people do not see young children do not complete their education just because sometimes you do not have enough mentorship. Cultural value systems that puts girls as a source of wealth and boys as defenders of the family, and a cultural belief that cutting then reduces promiscuity. So Tony, I will just go straight to this briefly. There are many issues coming up, and they talked about different things passionately. But most importantly in this case is the fact that they are doing something during this curfew sensitization, using radio stations, even during this moment where accessibility is very difficult. Tony, to you, what do you envision as a future in the Mount Elgon region, looking at the situation as it is right now in regards to the corona pandemic?
Thank you. Allow me to say that, Mount Elgon is in Bungoma County, which is like a very unique county in the sense that historically, the people who did not practice FGM in Kenya, the Luya, are the bigger majority in that county. But now, when you look at Mount Elgon, we have the Kalenjins there, and sometimes we tend to forget that it is in their culture, even though they are the minority in that county. So I remember when we were listening to the different activists who joined us and the panelists, and they were complaining, and not complaining, but they were sharing that the county government sometimes tends to overlook them when it comes to budgeting and also policy making, in the sense that they are minority and the larger majority of the county does not practice FGM. Yeah. So I believe this is something that needs to be looked into. They need to support from the national government and also from activists from the other areas, so that we can be able to ensure that the girls in that area are not at risk of being cut. Yes.
Amazing. We have different issues coming up in this region. And one thing that really struck me, as we had earlier said today, is the SLDF that was there during 2008 era. And there was an issue with how young boys were made to believe that it's normal to do certain things that violate girls' rights as well. Do you have any reflections you had in regards to abuse, or probably let's just say abuse of human rights during times of conflict?
Yes, in times of conflict, we all know that there is likelihood of cases of gender-based violence to go high, and in that time, mostly it's the children, women and girls who suffer most, because most of the times when we have a conflict, it's like the law is suspended, and then people now take advantage of the situation, and the cases of gender-based violence increase. Also, I was very happy from one of the panelists, that is Solomon Mtunasi, when he shared that whatever triggered him to become an NFGM activist is what happened to him during the time of conflict. That is the SLDF. He saw the injustices that were being done to the women and girls at that time, and he vowed to come back and do something for the community. And right now he's one of the renowned activists from that area, which is quite amazing.
Amazing. All right, Tony, do you have anything else to say about the Mount Elgon area?
Well, let me also say that we have high cases of teenage pregnancy in that area, so we also need to look into that, and also access to education, and that will go a long way in ensuring that the girls are empowered in that area.
Thank you very much. Short break, then we come and conclude. Plus, please remember that you can drop your questions from wherever you're watching this, and we will be able to surely join in. Remember, this has been the NFGM Live, brought to you by Tony Mwebia, Antonia Sophia, and I, your host, Jeremiah Kipainoi. We've been running this show from Monday to Friday, and today is the review day, as it always is on every Friday. Karibu sana, and please shoot your questions. We will be able to answer them as soon as possible.
Tune in to the NFGM live show from Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. East African Time. Find and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at NFGM Live. Reach out to us for inquiries, to report a case, or to support the show on WhatsApp +254 73 400 7674.
All right, you're back. Thank you very much again for joining us today. This is the NFGM Live with Tony Mwebia on the other side. 6:15 is time, so we're just about to wind this off. Sorry, we had a small glitch, and we are on a second stream, but from wherever you're watching, karibu sana. We do appreciate having you here today. Remember, you can always leave a comment, drop it, and we will be able to read from this side. If you're watching from YouTube, please leave it in the chat. If you're watching from Facebook, drop it same there. And on NFGM Online, please leave your comment, and it will pop on the screen as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. We really do appreciate having having you here today. And today we are with Tony Mwebia, founder and director men at FGM. We really do appreciate having you here, Tony. Of course, you're the producer. This is your show, but we still have lots of things pending in the coming week. What do we envision?
So in the coming week, we have a lot of interest of activists from different counties who want to join us in. For sure, we will be in Laikipia County on Monday. On Tuesday, we have a debate between Garissa and Nyamira County. We will have one of those. And then on Wednesday, we will have Tana River County. And then on Thursday, we will have a special show whereby we will have some guests who are representatives of different organizations that work at the national level in the fight against FGM. So be sure to tune in, and we will learn more about FGM in Kenya.
Perfect. Okay, we bring this to a close, Tony. There are lots of people watching online. Just a small glitch. We started off another stream. Please, if you are watching this, share it with your friends so that they can also join in this last minute. Leave your comments as you are watching. You can see people already joining in on Facebook. Karibu sana Matilda, and more people please joining in. Please leave your comments, and if you're not able to read, probably I will still continue having that conversation when we come back later. Remember, today we were featuring 4 counties, 13 panelists that were able to attend the NFGM live show this week, and we are super happy to have been able to accomplish that this week. This week is coming to you every Monday to Friday from 5:30 p.m. to around 6:15 p.m. Thank you very much for joining us today. Tony, I do not know if you have any parting shots before we bring this to a close, because we started off a new stream, and more questions might take some time to pop on the screen.
Allow me to say to thank all the people who have been able to tune in to our show every day, and I would like to tell them to next week we will continue with doing the same. So be sure to join us at the same